The world can turn upside down in a single moment. Sometimes, it's not the storms or the heartbreaks that change everything, but a simple act of kindness that arrives when you least expect it. This is the story of a woman who had everything money could buy, yet felt more alone than ever, and the gardener who showed her a kind of loyalty she had never known. A story that begins with anger, pain, and a shocking confession, "I cancelled my wedding for you," but ends with something far deeper. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness World, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories to life. The morning was quiet in the wealthy neighborhood of Willow Heights, a place where every lawn looked like it belonged in a magazine. Birds chirped softly, sprinklers hissed across green yards, and the sun rose peacefully. But inside the largest mansion on the street, chaos was unfolding. Evelyn Moore, a millionaire known for her confidence, elegance, and success, stood at the edge of her driveway in a long ivory robe, her hair still pinned from the night before. Her eyes were swollen with tears, her hands shaking. And standing across from her was Daniel, the gardener who had been tending her property for 3 years. He was 32, humble, soft-spoken, and often overlooked by everyone except her. He wore a simple green work shirt, gloves tucked into his back pocket, and boots still wet with morning dew. He looked confused, worried, and completely unprepared for what was coming. "I cancelled my wedding for you," Evelyn suddenly shouted, her voice breaking in the middle. She wasn't angry at him, she was angry at herself, at her life, at everything she had been running from. Daniel froze. His rake dropped to the grass with a dull thud. She wasn't expecting to say it out loud. She had held those words inside for days, but they escaped like a breath she couldn't hold anymore. Daniel took a slow step forward, his brows pulling together. "Ms. Moore." "Evelyn, what are you talking about?" His voice was gentle, like it always was when she was stressed. She pressed her palms against her face and shook her head. "I can't marry someone who doesn't care about people. Someone who treats kindness as weakness." She looked at Daniel, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and relief. "Every time I doubted myself, you listened. When I snapped, you smiled. When I was too busy to be human, you reminded me what it felt like." Daniel swallowed hard. He had always admired this woman from a distance, her strength, her ambition, her kindness hidden beneath layers of stress and expectation. But he never imagined she saw anything in him. "I didn't cancel my wedding for you," she corrected quietly, lowering her voice. "I cancelled it because of what I learned from you." The truth was, Evelyn's fiancé, Charles, was the definition of wealth without heart. He dismissed people for the smallest mistakes, spoke rudely to staff, and believed compassion was a distraction. Evelyn had tried to ignore it for years. She told herself she could live with it. But a week before the wedding, she heard him yelling at Daniel over a minor misunderstanding, speaking to him like he didn't matter. Daniel never told her. She overheard it by accident. And that moment changed everything. Daniel didn't want to see her cry. He stepped closer. "Evelyn, you didn't owe me anything. I was just doing my job." "That's the point," she whispered. "You were doing your job, and he was tearing you down. But you never raised your voice. You just apologized and kept going." She shook her head as tears slipped down. Kindness shouldn't cost someone their dignity. Daniel slowly nodded, understanding what she meant. For a moment, they stood in silence, the morning breeze carrying the faint scent of cut grass. Evelyn felt ashamed, not of canceling the wedding, but of all the years she accepted behavior she knew was wrong. She had built a life that looked perfect but felt empty. Daniel finally spoke. "So, what now?" Evelyn let out a shaky breath. "I don't know. I just knew I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I don't expect anything from you. I just needed to say it." Daniel looked at her with a softness she had never seen in anyone before. "Evelyn, you made the right choice. Not because of me, but because you chose kindness over convenience. That's brave. His words hit her heart harder than she expected. She had made decisions worth millions, but none had ever felt as heavy, or as liberating, as walking away from someone who disrespected others. Daniel reached down, picked up the rake, and set it aside carefully. Then he wiped his hands on his shirt and stood a little straighter. "Come with me for a second," he said gently. Evelyn frowned, confused, but followed him. He led her to the back garden, the place he had cared for with more dedication than anyone noticed. He pointed to a small corner where wildflowers grew in unexpected colors, lavender, gold, pale blue. "I planted these last year," Daniel said softly. "I didn't think you'd notice. But they reminded me of something." "What?" she asked. "That the most beautiful things grow when no one is watching." Evelyn looked at the flowers, then at him. Somehow, it was the most comforting thing she had heard all day. "I don't know what your future looks like now," Daniel continued, "but I know you deserve peace. And you deserve someone who looks at the world the way you do when you're not trying to impress anyone." Her eyes softened. "You see more in me than I see in myself." "I see who you really are," he replied. "Not the millionaire. Not the businesswoman. Just Evelyn." A tear fell, but this one felt warm, not painful. "Daniel, thank you." And that was the moment everything shifted, not romance, not promises, not grand gestures. Just two people standing in a garden, realizing kindness could change a life in ways money never could. In the days that followed, Evelyn didn't run away from the world. She rebuilt her life slowly. She spent more time connecting with people, appreciating small moments, asking questions, listening deeply. Daniel continued his work, but their conversations grew more honest, more human. They shared coffee in the mornings, laughter in the afternoons, and quiet moments when words weren't needed. One day, she asked him, "Do you ever regret choosing kindness, even when people take advantage of it?" He smiled. "Never. Kindness isn't weakness, it's strength most people never learn to use." Evelyn nodded, realizing he was right. She had spent years hiding behind success, when all along the real power was in the simple, gentle interactions that made people feel valued. Their friendship blossomed into something meaningful, not rushed, not forced, but real. And in time, Evelyn understood that canceling her wedding wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning. Because sometimes, life gives you wealth. Sometimes, it gives you status. But the greatest gift of all is crossing paths with someone whose kindness opens your eyes, and your heart. This story isn't about money or heartbreak or dramatic confessions. It's about choosing what's right even when it's hard. It's about the courage to walk away from anything that doesn't honor kindness. And it's about discovering that genuine humanity can come from the most unexpected places. So as you finish this video, remember this: kindness doesn't need applause, attention, or reward. It grows quietly, like those wildflowers in the corner of the garden, and yet it has the power to change lives, heal hearts, and create new beginnings.